What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the Washington Command Post. My name is JD. We are going through real quickly. There's been a lot of rumors as to, or a lot of clamoring by fans about potentially Washington trading for or signing Lamar Jackson. And I'm going to go over some reasons why that's not a great idea. I was going to try to do this into a short, but it's hard to squeeze it into a minute and get all the proper points across to make a full contrite video about all the options, opinions, whatever you want to call it. So the first thing, let's say sign him. Well, here's the problem with signing him. If you sign him, you got to sign him to a massive deal. He's on the open market. He's probably getting about $40 to $50 million. Okay, let's go lowball on that. Carson Wentz cost $28 million this year. The $28 million Carson Wentz cost us to, excuse me, I keep picking up it, to not sign Brandon Sheriff to an extension, to cut Eric Flowers, okay, to cut Matt Ioannidis. Okay, there could have been other reasons for some of these cuts. Keep that in mind, but we did cut that to make cap space. And the last one was the last one. We didn't sign Tim Settle. Okay, so there's a handful of players that were cap casualties just to sign a quarterback for $28 million. What all is our cap casualties if we have to sign a quarterback for $40 million? Would you rather have Deron Payne back off of what should have been a Pro Bowl year at six? I'd say you get him for about 15.5, maybe 16.5 million, somewhere in that range. I'd rather get Deron Payne back and have Sam Howell be quarterback and spend the extra money that we're not spending on Carson Wentz. I don't know, getting a good guard or a starting tackle and move Cornelius Lucas all the way to the right tackle, or Leno, whichever one, whoever it is. Move one of them over to Charles Leno, that's it. Move him over to the right tackle. He's a little bit better at the right tackle anyway. He can play both, but he's better at the right tackle. Okay, have a good backup in Cornelius Lucas. Keep him as a backup, but sign a guy that can play the left tackle spot and play well, or we draft a guy. I don't care whichever one. We can go center too if we wanted to. We have center, and I think honestly our guards are set. We should be playing Chris Paul. I think that's his name. Chris Paul, and not the guy, not the basketball player. Chris Paul, and we also have what's his name, Samuel Cosby. They should both be our guards. Okay, like I said, Charles Leno, send him to right tackle. And now we need a center, and I think Chase Roullier is going to get cut. He's injured way too often. We can save a decent amount of money by signing him. If he's healthy, he's great, but you can't rely on his health. So I think Washington should and probably will move on from him. And then you move on, and then you're looking at having to get a center. Maybe you get one in the draft, and a left tackle. Maybe you get one you sign one of those two, and you draft the other one first round. I think that's what that's what the plan is. Okay, but if you sign Lamar Jackson, you don't have the money to do any of those things. You have to rely on the draft. And in the worst case, the worst case scenario is, again, we repeat the same process we had last year, where we trade for someone, have to pay a full amount of the salary, and we also have to give up draft capital. So I don't want to give up either one of those. I don't want to give up draft capital and get nothing. Okay? I'd rather just keep Sam Howell, roll the dice with him, see how he is. The most proven way to win in the NFL is to win on a rookie quarterback's deal, because what it is the NFL's, pardon my French, ass backwards in a lot of ways, because you give a quarterback's best team it will probably ever be on, unless the quarterback takes a huge pay cut to go somewhere and just win a title or something. The best team a quarterback's going to be on is when they're rookies, when they're still getting their feet wet and learning the NFL. That's why quarterback position is so difficult, because the way the quarterback markets are designed is you're going to pay like the 20th ranked quarterback, who's not nearly as good as the first one. You're still going to pay $20 to $30 million for that quarterback. Or you're going to be in a spot where you're paying $20, $30 million, and that's like a good percentage of your cap. Or you're going to be in a spot where Washington's been at, where we've been having these bad quarterbacks. We got these quarterbacks on one-year deals that don't pan out, like Fitzpatrick or like Carson Wentz, so on and so forth. These quarterbacks that just aren't panning out, they're not being like what we need, and we're retreading these things. Okay? Right now, Washington's in a good spot. I think personally, I've been on this, I'm a howler, not a Howlinian. I've heard people say that, a howler. I've said Sam Howell should have started probably after the Bears game. We wasted pretty much his entire rookie year where he could have got experience. We could have been running a heavy run offense that, you know, the passing game plays off of it. He could have got some experience. And I know a lot of people, I heard this on a podcast, I don't remember the name of it, maybe it's like Take Command or Walk the District or something like that, where they're like, how are you going to start Sam Howell when you don't trust Ron Rivera's ability to judge quarterbacks? I'm like, that's why I want to start Sam Howell. Ron Rivera's inability to judge quarterbacks kept Sam Howell on the bench all season long, and he had to be convinced by his own backup quarterback to start him, and then he ended up being a pretty good quarterback. That's why I want to go with Sam Howell. Because obviously Ron's proven he doesn't have the ability to actually evaluate quarterback talent as well as he thinks. He had Cam Newton. He got lucky when he went to, what's it called? The Carolina Panthers. He got lucky with that. He lucked into having Cam Newton for most of his coaching career there. And he played off of that. And that was his, you know, he kind of got lucky there. I don't want to say he's a lucky coach. I think he's actually a solid coach in some ways. But he got lucky. He walked into a situation where he had an applicable quarterback. Okay? And Cam Newton actually brings up another reason why I wouldn't go with Lamar Jackson, but I'll get that in a minute. But my point being is if we trade or sign Lamar Jackson, just look at the team around him is not going to be better. Lamar Jackson has already gotten banged up this year behind their offensive line, and I think their offensive line was probably better than ours. Okay, what's happening when it comes by ours, and we have to, like, not sign a better left tackle to protect him, or not sign a better guard to protect him, or not sign a center that can protect him. What happens when those things, whenever we have to allocate our money to pay the quarterback, we can't pay these other, what happens when we don't get Drawn Payne back? And keep our defensive line intact and as solid as it's been? What happens when we do all those things? Okay, in my opinion, I think you lose. I think the means don't justify the ends in that regard. I think you lose too much. You're spending too much money on one position. I mean, eventually we might have to do that if Sam Howell pans out to be a franchise quarterback. At one point, we may have to sign someone to that. But why? Right now, we've spent so much money in certain parts of the team that the whole point of Ron Rivera's strategy was drop a quarterback in and let's win this thing. And that's the strategy. And that strategy is going to come to fruition this year, hopefully, with Samuel Howell. And we don't know our offensive coordinator yet. We'll see. But another reason why I wouldn't go with the route of signing or trading for Lamar Jackson is because, look, I'm not sitting here saying the Ravens don't want him, but they're certainly not acting like they want him. And it's not that I don't think they think he's a bad quarterback. But look at the Bengals-Ravens game this weekend. The Ravens almost won that game. They almost won that game without their star quarterback, who wants $50 million a year, which, if that happens, you're not seeing a handful of those guys on the field to make that team as good as they are. If you're the Baltimore Ravens, we can probably draft a rookie quarterback on a cheaper deal. The team around him is so stacked that we could probably win that game with a slightly better version of our back. I think it's Tyler Huntley or something like that. I don't remember the backup running back's name. I don't follow the Ravens enough to know. Is it Huntley? I think it's Huntley. But he's a quality backup, don't get me wrong. He's actually a pretty decent backup. I think any team would be lucky to have a backup as good as him. Problem is, he's not Lamar Jackson. But look how good the team was, good enough to compensate for Lamar Jackson not being there, and they almost won the game. It wasn't for a fumble on the goal line. So you got to look at it. They're looking at it that way. Like, why would we pay $50 million when we can just pay? I don't know. We could probably. I don't know. I think this would be a blasphemous statement to say, but I was just speaking hypothetically. We can sign Taylor Heineke over here for like $10 million or something, and we probably could do just as well. If that was going to be the blasphemous statement, I was going to say, I don't think that's a serious statement. I'm not saying that at all. Do not misquote me here. Do not misquote me, okay? But I was just going to say, but they could probably get like a Derek Carr who's going to be on the open market, who's not going to cost $40 or $50 million. He might cost $20 because he gets cut from his team, and he's probably looking for a better deal. I don't know. I don't know the quarterback market. Maybe Sam Darnold. Maybe Sam Darnold won't cost that much. I don't know. I don't know how the Ravens look at it, but all they did was look at it this year and like, you know what? We're not going to sign that guy to a long-term contract for X reasons. And X reasons, one, is going to be too much of the salary cap, and we're not going to be able to sign the rest of the team. That's reason number one. I think that's a quality reason. I think that makes sense. Reason number two, he is injured right now. I don't think he's injury prone. I don't think that's a common thing, but he is injured. So maybe they're afraid that with this style of play, he's going to get injured a lot. Okay, look at RG3, and this is not the greatest example. RG3 is not the quarterback Lamar Jackson was. I want to make that clear. But RG3, I'll circle back to my Cam Newton thing earlier. So Cam Newton is actually a good example of the type of quarterback Lamar Jackson is. Cam Newton was effective in the NFL for as long as he could effectively run in the NFL without getting hurt. Because he was so big and so bulky. He was built like a linebacker. He was almost built like a defensive end, like a good one, like an LT or something. He's built, he was strong, he was big, and he had a cannon for an arm. But if you look at his actual statistics, like career completion percentage was like between 50 and 60%. That's not very good, especially in today's NFL. So it wasn't very good. And I think like most seasons, it was around like between 50 and 55%, if I'm being honest with you. I think he had a couple good years where he was hitting like right at the 60 mark. And when he started getting injured, he stopped being effective because he had to stop running, and therefore he had to rely on his arm. And Lamar Jackson is a significantly better passer than Cam Newton. Do not get me wrong. However, the biggest part of Lamar Jackson's game is his dual threat ability. His impact on the running game opens up so many things for the passing game. It makes him a more effective passer because of all the things that open up because he can run. When you take away his ability to run, he stops being as effective. The same thing happened with RG3. That's why I brought him up. RG3 came back in after tearing his ACL and told Mike Shanahan, oh yeah, I'm just going to be a pocket passer now. I don't want to run the ball. And now they completely cut out all the effectiveness that Robert had when it came to running and passing and passing the football. It made his reads bad. He wasn't good. He wasn't able to read because with the play action, it made his reads like really simple, quick, decisive throw. Now there's no threat from the run, so it takes away one of his reads, and it made the field more complicated. I don't want to get too much into quarterback science about how how you can read the field and how play action affects it, and play action with the quarterback to be able to run also affects it. But it did affect it, and it does affect it with Lamar Jackson. So if he's not able to stay healthy, and he won't be able to stay healthy if he's behind an offensive line, we have to make out of rookies because we can't afford to sign anyone. Okay. What is another reason why I don't want to sign them up? I mean, it's not a character thing. I think Lamar Jackson has good character. Other than the crap thing. No, I'm just kidding. That's Jameis Winston. That's a joke. Lamar Jackson has great character. I've never heard anything about Lamar Jackson's character. I mean, even whenever he was in contract negotiations, he still showed up to work. He still played football. He still was a good player. He was a good teammate. He wasn't like a jerk about it. He wasn't like punk. Wasn't any of those things. So there's nothing I have about bad about his character. I have nothing about his character I want to comment on. I think he's got great character, and character-wise, yeah, get him in our locker room. But it's the other things about the franchise that you got to worry about. It's the money. It's about building the rest of the team. It's about you're putting all your eggs in this basket. Is this basket? Here's a fact. The Ravens have only won one playoff game with him as a starter. Okay, one playoff game. Go look it up. It's only been one playoff game. Okay, and like I said, the team's probably looking at it like, hey, we can probably draft a rookie quarterback, drop him in with this team, or get a veteran, drop him in with this team, and do just as well with this stacked roster. Is that one better? That one might be a little bit better, but it's also my eyes, but whatever. So, yeah, that's a factor. I don't think it's a factor people are considering. They think like, oh, just bring this guy here, and then no, because then no one else can sign. We don't re-sign Dron Payne. We don't go out and sign a left tackle to protect our quarterback. We don't sign a center, potentially. Okay, we don't sign our backup center in Wes Schweitzer. We don't sign those guys. We don't get those guys on our books to maintain the things that we have that are successful. Dron Payne is someone I think should be a priority. It's going to take about 15 to 16 million to get that guy signed. I think that's what's going to happen. If you look at, I forget the website, but they basically go over like cap predictions for every player. If you're looking at cap predictions for Dron Payne, they're saying like 14.5 million or something like that. And honestly, I think that's very low for what Dron Payne brings to the table. I mean, maybe that's what he brings. If so, great. I mean, that's less money you have to pay him. But I think to make sure you get him on the books and you make him happy, and make him feel like he's like you're getting his comeuppance and what he deserves. You put him at 15.5 or 16.5 million, somewhere in that range, and get him signed. Off topic, sorry. Lamar Jackson, schematically, you got to change the entire flow of your offense. None of the offense right now is built around a running quarterback. I mean, you got to do that anyway when you get a new offensive coordinator in. So that may be part of it. So that's a factor. When you get a new offensive coordinator, then you got to factor that in. But I think the means don't justify the ends. You got to get a quarterback that's going to take up. He's going to be electric. Do not get me wrong. He'll be an electric quarterback. He'll be star-studded. We'll have big plays. He'll be explosive, and he'll definitely have an impact, and it'll be a positive impact. But you're going to have the negatives where we don't have cap space for good players. We're going to have to cut players that we like, that Washington likes, to be able to afford them. And I just don't know if the means outweigh, because I don't think he's going to be enough to push it. I think the team right now, one or two pieces, and we got a stout team. I really do. I mean, we may look at the season like, oh, we just went this and this. We're not that. I think our defense is like a linebacker and a corner away from being much better. I think we found our safeties. We got a good safety tandem in Cameron Curl, which I think he should be extended this offseason. Keep that in mind. Okay. So we got Cameron Curl, Derek Forrester. There's our two safeties. We have Bobby McCain did actually pretty good in the slot this year rather than playing like an actual safety position. So maybe keeping him as a slot corner is good. Kendall Fuller, Benjamin St. Juste, they're solid. We need a linebacker and a corner. A linebacker, that way Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb doesn't come back. We can replace Cole Holcomb, but I think we should also try to re-sign Cole Holcomb. And so the defensive line doesn't need anything. Defensive ends are good. Our backup defensive ends played good last year. Our defensive line played good. We're going to get Fadarius Mathis back. If we get Deron Payne back, I'm turning this light on now. We get Deron Payne back. There's so many things that are just only going to benefit Washington by re-signing these guys, and our defense will be good next year. We don't have to worry about it. The problem we had last year was offensive line, quarterback, and offensive coordinator. Now, of all three of them, who has the power to compensate for the other two? I think the offensive coordinator does. Your offensive line sucks. Hey, run 2 tight end sets to help with the pass blocking or run blocking. Okay, if your quarterback's getting sacked a lot, hey, why don't you run play action? Why don't you throw off your play calling game and throw it, mix it up a little bit to throw off the opposition? I don't think Scott Turner was good at those things. I think he put a quarterback in a lot of bad positions with a bad line. Can the offensive line play better? Sure, but you're not going to snap your fingers and make that happen. Sometimes it's just talent's better, and the way you compensate with talent is you got to compensate with scheme, and that's where I think Scott Turner played horrible. The New England Patriots won a Super Bowl with 3 undrafted rookies, or went to the Super Bowl and almost won it. And I think it was against the Eagles, I think, honestly. And they went to the Super Bowl with 3 undrafted rookies as not a part of an offensive line. But the scheme helped them be competitive and throughout the game. You can scheme to fix some of your skill deficiencies, but you can't call plays no matter who's in there and not take into effect like the talent around it. Okay, I know I'm getting off on tangents here. It's been about 18 minutes. Yeah, 18 minutes. But more or less, what I'm trying to get at with this is I like Lamar Jackson as a player. I think he's a great player. I think any team that gets him will be lucky to have him. Do I want him on our team? It's not a character thing. I think he's got good character. I don't think the money's worth it. It doesn't add up to me to be worth it. We either got to give up draft picks to get him, which we had to give up 2/3 to get Carson Wentz. We also had to pay $28 million to get Carson Wentz. So how much of the salary are we going to have to eat to trade for him? And we're probably going to eat all of it. We got to eat all of Carson Wentz's salary. We didn't like the Colts split the salary with us. They paid half of it. It would have helped us immensely. We could have kept, maybe re-signed Deron Payne or kept Eric Flowers or something, but they didn't split it with us. So we were stuck eating all of it, and we're probably going to end up doing the same thing to get Lamar Jackson. Because I don't think the Ravens want him, or they're just really holding off to see how long he can be hurt so they can lowball him on a deal. So maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. There's a lot of reasons why it doesn't make sense to sign him. With one playoff game, the team almost won a playoff game without him. You got to look at it from the Ravens' perspective. You got to look at it from Washington's perspective too. Does Washington really want to bring in a $40 million quarterback, a $40 to $50 million quarterback, when they're in the midst of selling the team as well? I know that there's some rumors out, some things that Dan made it clear to anyone who's interested. He's not selling. He's only selling controlling stake in the team. He still wants to be a partial owner. But you know what's probably going to happen with that is whoever buys the team can eventually convincingly let him buy him out and kick him out of here anyway, like he did with his other owners, or the other partial owners that he had on the team. So I hope that happens. I really do. I just want Dan Snyder gone, and then we can rebrand the team to be the Red Wolves. Whatever. Nothing else I want to talk about. I think that's it. If you're watching this, sorry, it might be a little bouncy or a little wavy. I am driving home on the turnpike. I am multitasking, as they say. But follow me on Twitter. It's Commander J Plank. And like and subscribe to this channel. I do Commander stuff all the time when I can. So thank you for watching, and hail to the Commander. See ya.